Welcome back to the deep dive. So today we're looking at some really compelling source material. It's excerpts from the novel, All the Bright Places.
Yeah, it's quite a unique starting point for this kind of exploration.
It really is. And our mission, well, it's basically to unpack how this story uses what seems like a simple high school assignment.
Right, a U.S. geography project. Seems pretty standard.
Exactly. But it becomes this incredibly intense map, you could say, for two teenagers, Theodore Finch and Violet Markey, as they navigate just immense grief and serious mental health challenges.
And the setup hooks you immediately. The source material doesn't waste any time establishing the stakes.
No kidding. We first meet them where?
On the school bell tower ledge, not exactly your typical high school hangout.
Right. Violet's up there, shoeless, just frozen. It's been 9 months since her sister Eleanor died, and she's completely paralyzed by it.
And Finch, the school outcast they call Theodore Freak, he's actually up there too. But he's the one coaxing her down.
Yeah, and what's fascinating is how the text gives us his internal language for his own struggles.
Yeah.
He talks about the asleeps,
Right, this periods of just crushing depression.
the awakes, these bursts of almost manic energy where he's fighting so hard just to stay present, to stay, well, awake.
Precisely. So you have Violet, who's shut down, can't drive, can't write, basically can't function. And Finch, who's in this constant battle to control his own mind, which feels like it's always spiraling. They're both defined by this void. Grief for her, a kind of psychological emptiness for him.
And then, almost accidentally, the school provides the structure, the catalyst, Mr. Black, the geography teacher.
Yeah, assigns this mandatory project, partner up, find 2 or 3 wonders of Indiana, and this is key, physically visit them.
Sounds harmless enough, maybe even a bit boring.
But for Finch, it becomes everything. It's life or death, almost literally. He immediately grabs Violet as his partner.
He doesn't just see it as a report, does he?
Not at all. He reframes it instantly. It's a quest. A wandering, he calls it. Mandatory wandering.
And this ties into something deeper for him, this great manifesto idea.
Exactly. He references Cesare Pavese, the Italian poet. It's this core drive. Finch has this urge to count for something, to leave a trace, to be remembered.
So this project, this wandering, it's his way of trying to prove he exists.
Yeah.
To fight for his place here.
That's absolutely his rationale. It's his fight for survival, framed as a geography assignment. And you see his own struggle reflected right away in the rules he sets for Violet.
Ah, the rules. Right.
He's trying to jolt her out of her paralysis, her fear. So initially, no driving allowed. Travel has to be walking, jogging, biking.
Forcing movement.
Yeah.
Forcing engagement with the world when she's completely withdrawn.
Exactly. It's a physical push against her mental stagnation.
Okay, so let's dig into where this quest actually begins. Because the locations themselves, they're pretty telling. They start with Hoosier Hill.
Hoosier Hill, yeah. It's such a brilliantly understated start.
Understated how? It's the highest point in Indiana.
It is, technically. All 12,257 feet of it. But the source makes it clear it's literally in someone's backyard. It's surrounded by trees. There's a picnic table. It's incredibly mundane.
Huh. So the highest point is just kind of there.
Pretty much. Which maybe is Finch's point, Maybe significance isn't always about dramatic landscapes. Maybe it's hidden in the ordinary, the overlooked, a perfect sort of ironic starting point.
It definitely sets a certain tone. It's not about grand monuments.
No, it's about finding something else. But then the next significant location they focus on has a very different vibe. Much darker symbolism.
You mean the Blue Hole?
Yeah, the Blue Hole near Prairieton.
Wow.
This place is crucial for understanding Finch. It's this 3-acre lake, supposedly bottomless.
Right, with all the local myths, quicksand, underground rivers connecting to the Wabash.
Exactly. It represents this sort of unknowable depth, this potential danger. But for Finch, water is his element. He calls it his special power.
He practices holding his breath underwater, doesn't he? Like obsessively.
Yes. He uses that physical act, submerging himself, as a way to fight off the asleeps, his depression. He says something like, when you're underwater, all you can think about is needing air. There's no room for the other darkness.
So it's a coping mechanism. A way to find temporary control, maybe.
A way to control the void, absolutely, by choosing to enter it on his terms.
Okay, so we have the mundane peak and the symbolic, dangerous depth. This contrast seems central to their whole map.
It really is. The places they visit across Indiana, they're less about textbook geography and more about, well, the weird ways people try to leave their mark or defy the odds or just create something unexpected.
Which brings us to some of the really specific, almost bizarre stops on their journey. I'm thinking those homemade roller coasters.
Oh, John Ivor's backyard coasters, yes.
Yeah.
The Blue Flash and Blue 2, this unassuming grandpa just
Yeah.
builds these full-scale thrill rides behind his house.
It's amazing. But what really grabs Finch isn't just the coasters themselves, is it?
No, it's the why. Ivers talks about chasing the thrill of impending, weightless doom. That phrase just clicks with Finch.
And he connects it to that theoretical, what was it, the euthanasia coaster.
Exactly. That hypothetical design meant to kill passengers painlessly using extreme G-forces, cerebral hypoxia.
Wow. So Finch finds a kind of morbid beauty, or maybe understanding, in this pursuit of a controlled, almost elegant ending, even in a backyard roller coaster.
I think so. It speaks to his desire for control, for making even an ending into something designed, something intentional. It fits that whole manifesto idea, making his mark, even if the mark is about departure.
It's pretty dark, but it tracks with his character.
And you see that theme of defying expectations, maybe even defying physics, again at Gravity Hill.
Right, in Kokomo, where they park the car. Little bastard, he calls it.
Hi, I read.
They put it neutral and it rolls uphill.
Yeah.
The world's slowest roller coaster.
It's these little glitches in the matrix, these small pockets of defiance against the expected that capture Finch's imagination. They're like external symbols of his internal fight, trying to resist the downward pull.
And importantly, these are the kinds of experiences that start to kind of wake Violet up too, right? Pull her out of that frozen state.
Definitely. She starts to engage, even smile. But the journey also throws up some real frustrations for Finch, especially around that idea of leaving a permanent mark.
Like with the world's largest ball of paint.
Exactly. Mike Carmichael's giant paintball, over 20,000 layers. It's this monument to persistence.
So Finch adds to it.
He does. He takes purple paint, Violet's favorite color, and writes Violet on it, a seemingly permanent gesture.
Yep.
But the guy basically tells him, yeah, everything gets painted over eventually. It's a clean slate every time.
Oof. For someone obsessed with being remembered, with counting for something.
It's got to feel like a gut punch. Like even these monumental efforts are ultimately erased, impermanent.
That idea of impermanence comes up again with the Before I Die wall, doesn't it? That communal chalkboard.
Mm-hmm. A place where people write their hopes, their dreams, out in public.
And this is where Violet really starts to articulate her own path forward.
Yeah, her entries are so raw, so practical. Stop being afraid. Drive again. Right. These are tangible goals for survival, for reclaiming her life.
Finch writes something too, though.
He writes, and kiss Violet Markey. It's pure emotion, pure connection. But later, it gets erased, replaced by something else.
So even these public declarations are vulnerable, fleeting.
Exactly. The physical spaces reflect their deepest desires, but also how fragile those desires can feel out in the world.
And maybe because the world feels so uncertain, they start creating their own private world. Through language.
Yeah, that's where the Virginia Woolf quotes come in. They start communicating online, using lines from her work, like arrange whatever pieces come your way. It becomes this kind of secret code between them.
A way to see each other, maybe, when the rest of the world doesn't quite get it.
It really underscores that they recognize something kindred in each other, these two really bright, sensitive souls trying to make sense of things. But the source material is clear, while Violet is slowly, tentatively starting to gather her pieces.
Finch's internal world is getting darker.
Much darker.
Right.
Which leads us into the next, tougher part of their story.
Right. Things escalate. He ends up in this violent fight with Romer, the school bully.
And gets expelled. Which just sends him further inward. He physically retreats into his walk-in closet, calls it his fort.
His safe space, but also kind of a prison.
It becomes this really desperate, symbolic attempt at control. He starts applying the 8 steps to surviving quicksand to his depression. Drop everything, relax, distribute your weight.
Trying to manage the sinking feeling with a set of instructions.
Yeah, but the tragedy is the metaphor breaks down. He follows the steps perfectly, but he's still sinking. The instructions don't actually stop the quicksand inside him.
God, that's bleak.
It is. But even then, he makes this one last incredible gesture for Violet on his birthday.
The closet transformation.
Yeah, the Jovian plutonium gravitational chamber. He paints the whole thing black, adds planets, stars, uses a black light.
To create this feeling of floating, weightless, safe.
Exactly. His version of a perfect, controlled cosmos. Just for her. It's this incredibly beautiful, intimate moment, but it stands in such stark contrast to the chaos he's feeling internally.
And it's around this time Violet finally reveals the full story about the bell tower, right? Why she was really up there.
Yes. She tells him it was her sister Eleanor's birthday. And she just felt this overwhelming sense of meaninglessness. She said, none of it matters. It's all just time filler until we die.
So they really were on the same ledge, just for different reasons, or maybe similar ones deep down.
That shared vulnerability, that confession, you'd think it might bring them closer, but maybe for Finch, hearing his own despair mirrored like that was too much. Confirmation, perhaps.
Because shortly after that, he disappears.
Completely. He does, but he doesn't just vanish. He leaves clues. His final wanderings become offerings for Violet to find. It's like he's reversing the quest.
Okay, so let's follow those last traces he leaves. The shoe trees.
Right. That weird four-way stop where people have thrown hundreds of pairs of shoes up into the trees. Finch leaves his own pair there, his signature fluorescent-laced sneakers.
Along with cigarettes, right?
Yeah, a pack of American spirits. It feels like he's shedding his identity, leaving behind the tools he used for his journey, his fight.
Leaving his mark in a different way. And then the biggest mark of all.
The Pendleton Pike Drive-In screen. Abandoned, huge, and he spray paints across it. I was here, TF.
Wow. I was here. The absolute core of his great manifesto.
His final, towering declaration of existence against this backdrop of decay and disappearance just before the end.
Which brings us to the hardest part. Violet eventually finds out Finch died, drowned in the blue hole.
And his family, trying to cope, insists it was an accident, protects that narrative.
But Finch left something specifically for Violet, didn't he? In the closet for it.
Yes. A final clue. Post-it notes rearranged. They form a line from a Vedic hymn they discussed with her father. Go to the waters if it suits thee there.
He's pointing her toward the blue hole.
Pointing her towards his end. He returned to the one place where he felt he could escape the asleeps. But this time, he didn't resurface. He found the bottom of the supposedly bottomless lake.
Devastating. But the project, the map wasn't finished, was it? There was one last place.
For Violet. The wandering was designed for two, but the final destination was just for her. She follows the map, the clues,
To Farmersburg, which seems like nothing.
Leads her to a tiny chapel way out on a private road, very secluded.
And inside?
Inside, she finds it, the end point of their journey together, a song or maybe a poem that Finch wrote and left just for her.
What does it say?
It includes the lines, "You make me lovely, and it's so lovely to be lovely to the one I love." It's his final testament to what their connection meant, the beauty she brought into his darkness. His last perfect day engineered for her to find.
And somehow, finding that's what finally allows the project to work. For Violet.
It seems so. That discovery, combined with the whole journey, it seems to unlock something. She finally overcomes that crippling fear. She learns to drive again.
Often alone, right?
Yeah.
Using the car not as a symbol of trauma, but of freedom.
Exactly. And crucially, she starts writing again. She launches her own webzine, calls it Germ, a place for real, messy life and thoughts, not the polished perfection she used to aim for.
Oh, she transformed. She's not the paralyzed Violet, not the old ultraviolet, remarkable persona. He's just Violet Markey, someone who can drive and write and remember.
Remember Eleanor and remember Finch. Without being completely destroyed by the guilt or the grief, she finds her voice again.
So the journey through Indiana, all those strange, specific places, the backyard hill, the deadly lake, the gravity-defying spot, the paintball, it all became this unexpected pathway for her healing.
Finch's wandering was his desperate search for control, for significance, maybe even for an exit strategy. But for Violet, it ultimately became her road to recovery.
There's such a powerful, almost unbearable irony there. The assignment worked, in a way.
Yeah.
Just at such a profound cost.
It absolutely raises that question. Was the beauty they found together, those moments of connection, worth the inevitable devastating pain? The source material doesn't give an easy answer.
No. But what really sticks with you, I think, is how Finch himself frames it. Despite everything, the darkness, the ending, he insists on the value of their time.
That final text message he sends her. The thing is, they were all perfect days.
All of them, even the hard ones, presumably.
Which leaves us with a really powerful question, I think, for you listening. Finch found these moments of intense clarity, connection, even perfection, right alongside profound darkness.
So what does it actually take for any day, no matter how fragile or weird, spent by a bottomless lake or on a backyard roller coaster? What makes it earn that label perfect?
And maybe how many of those moments, those defined points of light, does it take to keep hope alive, even when things feel overwhelming? It's something to really think about as you move through your own wanderings.